Coffee is the best way to understand how innovation starts, stagnates, and stops until it moves somewhere else. It started in Ethiopia and the Horn of Africa, made it to Yemen, where Sufis realized you could use it to stay up all night, and then it made its way through the Arabian Peninsula to the Levant to Turkey. And that whole journey, it basically stayed the same. People realized there could be light roasts or dark roasts, spices added in, water used, milk used, but more or less coffee was coffee plus spices in a pot boiled with water or milk. That was it. Coffee then made it to Europe, and the Italians invented magic. They created the espresso, which is the basis of all the coffee drinks that you and I know and love. So the basic espresso, although you may not know it, is there in all of the different coffees you order. So if you have a latte, it's milk and espresso. If you have a macchiato, it's foam and espresso. And this became another stage of innovation, slowing down, and then a freeze. Progress changes. Eventually, an American goes to Italy, discovers their beautiful espresso bar culture, tries to bring it back to America, opens up a cafe called Starbucks, and the rest is history. Starbucks' innovation, if you can call it that, are massively sugary, huge drinks that are more like a milkshake than a coffee. But again, they represented a change. And then that, just like the espresso, which became global, became global. Starbucks is everywhere, even in Italy, right next to an espresso bar, you can find a Starbucks full of people happily drinking. But then Starbucks has again ground to a halt, and then that style of coffee, there's not much more that can be done with it. The reason behind this is that people's appetites come to expect something, and then not much more can be done. So eventually, the Italians got used to the idea that an espresso is an espresso, and that it's €1, and what more do you want to do with it? It's just coffee, just drink it. And the same thing is true in America. A Starbucks drink is a Starbucks drink. What more can be done? Just drink it. So what is the next frontier? I said that it needs to move to develop. The next frontier, in my view, if you want to bet your money, is China. The Asians have a great innovation culture. They love arts and crafts. They are artisans. They're very much into these things. They don't have coffee yet, but they have a growing middle class that has international tastes. Coffee was prohibitively expensive in China. I think it costs like 40 or 50 RMB in the past. But then one of their local coffee companies started charging 10 RMB, and then all the other Chinese companies started also charging 10 RMB. Slowly, coffee is expanded, and it's taking that Starbucks model and then changing it. So there are already Chinese coffee companies, and they even have branches here in Chinese neighborhoods in America, but don't be surprised if they expand and take over the whole coffee market. If coffee does change at all, who knows? Maybe it's destined to just stay the way it is. I'm a pizza fanatic, and people tell me it's just cheese and bread. And maybe ultimately coffee is just beans and water. But if it is going to change further, keep your eyes out for China.